loves Gwen Stefani. Oh, I absolutely love this song. Kia ora and welcome. My name is ZoeStibi and I am your vocal coach for today. In today's vocal analysis, we're going to be taking a look at Gwen Stefani at the AMAs with an amazing mashup. Love her vocals. Let's see what she's up to with her vocal technique. Oh, before I get to Gwen, if you are looking to improve your vocal technique and learn to sing higher, louder, with more power and more resonance, just improve your voice in general through one-to-one singing lessons, then check out my link in the description below and join my online singing school, the Vocal Academy. I'd love to see you there. Let's just get to Gwen.
Chasing me around, I thought I lost it, but then it found me like it always does, dragging me back to who I was. And now I'm running, but not from you. I stay one step ahead of the pain. I keep an umbrella when
Oh, isn't just fabulous? She's just got such a wonderful voice, and we're really going to notice the difference between this song, which actually I've never heard before, very exciting, which sounds very sung in comparison to some of Gwen's earlier work, where she's singing more in a punk style, which is a little bit more straight tone. We'll talk about that later, though. You can hear this definite thyroid tilt. Oh, no, there's no rain. It's sort of making the sound a little bit lighter than we're used to hearing from her. And again, probably she's been doing this for a wee while, and I just really haven't noticed because I'm still stuck in the Hollaback. Go.
the past keeps chasing me around, I thought I lost it, but then it found me like it always does, dragging me back to who I was. And now I'm running, but not from you.
So you're noticing a definite amount of, like, I was going to say a definite amount of vibrato, and then as a tiny bit of vibrato, like just at the end of the phrases. Now, vibrato is sort of a sweetening of the sound, and that's a real trigger for me to know that there is this thyroid tilt going on, where the larynx, the bit in here where the sound is produced, is tilting forward and to create the thinning out of the vocal folds, and that is what brings on our vibrato. Vibrato seems to be this holy grail of things that people want to look for. So if that is something that you are looking to improve on, it really does need to be looked at in one-to-one singing lessons. So check out the link in the description below, because it's very individual as to why someone would be struggling with their vibrato. You're going to notice, though, that the vibrato will disappear pretty much when she gets into Hollaback.
Back to who I was. And now I'm running, but not from you. I stay one step ahead of the pain. I keep an umbrella when there's no rain. I got my guard up when there's no war. Don't know what I'm fighting for. Give me a second, I need to swallow my tears. I promise, I want you here. I want you here. But first let me swallow my tears.
Okay, I'm not really too sure if that first part of the song was live, but we're going to take it as being live because a lot of the AMAs is recorded live. But it just sounded a little bit too perfect for me. We couldn't really hear the breath, and I know that this is cleaned up again, obviously, in post-production. So we'll just take it at face value and say that it's live. It's just this tone was just like too straight, yeah? So we're hearing this quite a noticeable amount of pressure at the start of the sound. And again, I'm not making fun of Gwen Stefani. It's just what it sounds like when I'm doing that. And to show you what I'm meaning, that's just meaning that we've got quite a lot of that pressure against the vocal folds right at the beginning of the sound. And that's obviously what we know. Oh, hey, no Hollaback, girl. We're going to hear that obviously soon. But we've got that little bit of the air coming through with that extra pressure in the voice, and that thyroid tilt is what's bringing that on. And we don't necessarily have to have that amount of pressure coming on, but obviously it's a big part of Gwen Stefani's sound. So I'm really liking that although she's moved into a slightly more of a country kind of style, bit of a ballad, she's still holding on to really what makes her voice sound like her, and she hasn't like lost that. That could also be a little bit to do with the actual like what's going on with the physiology of the vocal folds, but we'll talk about that in the next break if I remember.
One step ahead of the pain. I keep an umbrella when there's no rain. I got my guard up when there's no war. Don't know the bottom fall. Give me a second, I need to swallow my tears. I promise, I promise, I promise, I want you here. I want you here. But first let me swallow my tears.
So we've got quite for some Miss Swallow my tears. And the reason why I'm like, it sounds pre-recorded as well, because we didn't hear a huge change in the volume going from that first part of the song into ba-da-da-da-da-da. And usually when we go into a lighter head voice sound, we would have quite a considerable drop off in the volume. And that's what a lot of singers come to me for, to say, Zoe, I really want to keep that power going up, or I want to keep the same volume going up further in the range. And that's really about training the vocal fold closure itself, lower down in the range and being able to hold on to that further as you're going, well, further up as you're singing higher. So check out my free singing lesson available in the description below if you are looking to strengthen that lower part of your range, because it really is about finding that chest voice there. But we heard it kind of disappeared a little bit, that like little bit of crackle as she went higher. It's usually because the vocal folds are thinning out slightly, so there's less pressure going on behind the sound. That could also be as well, this like crackle that we're hearing at the beginning could be a little bit to do with maybe polyp or soft nodules or nodules. I don't really know, I couldn't say, but if a singer was in my studio and they couldn't sing without those things in their voice, I would want them to get checked out by a medical professional to just check out what's going on with their voice, because this can often be one of the causes of why people can't sing higher or even louder as they're going further up. The voice kind of just cuts out, or they feel like they've reached a ceiling.
But first let me swallow my tears. If I could escape, I would, but first of all, let me say I must apologize for actors thinking treat me this way. Cause I've been acting like something up on the floor as your oxygen to the refrigerator, baby. That's the reason I've been acting so bold. If I could escape and recreate a place that's my own world.
So, I mean, now that you're hearing her now, you can definitely hear that the first part of the song was pre-recorded. Again, nothing against Gwen. It just makes me slightly annoyed that they portray that it is in a live setting, and a lot of people believe that it is in a live setting and then wonder why they can't create that sort of sound at home. There's no way that you can create such a smooth, kind of perfect sound in a human voice, because this is the human voice. It's beautiful and it's perfect in all of its like imperfection, and this is what I really love and why I only look at live performances here on my channel. So if you really want to look at more actual vocal technique, then subscribe to the channel, because I'd love to see you around here more often. So you're going to hear a lot more of this hard onset going on. These are the glottal onsets. I do go into that in my free singing lesson. So we're talking about this quite hard onsets there. Vocal folds are closing before the onset of the tone. Let's just go back on that, because we're really hearing the real Gwen voice right now.
If I could escape, I would, but first of all, let me say I must apologize for actors thinking treat me this way. Cause I've been acting like something up on the floor as your oxygen to the refrigerator, baby. That's the reason I've been acting so bold. If I could escape and recreate a place that's my own world, and I could be your favorite girl forever, perfectly together. Now tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet if I could be sweet?
Okay, so we've got this. I'm just like listening obviously to her voice and like hearing the way the darkening of her voice that's happened over time. And I must admit, millennial, big Gwen Stefani fan from my Hollaback girl, yeah. So we have noticed that there is a darkening of the sound. That's due to age. As you get older, your larynx actually never stops dropping with gravity. So as we age, the voice gets slightly darker, and that's what we're hearing in there. It's just basically this larynx is getting lower. The lower the larynx, the darker the tone, because the bigger or the longer the instrument. Just like on my guitars, this small ukulele here has got a brighter sound than my big guitar. And it's just due to the length and the size of the instrument there. So that's what's happening with Gwen there. So we've got better down on a refrigerator. So she's got this is a typical like punk sound. We've got a vertical larynx position. We've got lost all of that sweetness in the sound. The larynx is not tipping forward. Down in front of a refrigerator. Quite a straight tone. We've got quite a lot of that again. Those like little bit of the hard onset with that kind of almost a little bit of constriction coming in there as well. And I really do believe that she's kind of doing a couple of other things to manipulate the sound, because she doesn't sound like this when she's speaking. Sweet escape. So you can hear as well, I could be sweet. And when she's landing on those longer vowels, like, if I could be sweet, we're getting a darkening of that sound, and that kind of, and I'm in a refrigerator, which would be a high larynx with a little bit of tension at the back of the back of the throat, and that's gone then when she's singing on those long howls. If I could be sweet, because that would be too tight for us to sing on a longer sustained note. So it's really about kind of going in and out of these sounds. And that's what creates a really lovely amount of artistry, that we are able to be really, really flexible with our vocal technique with that sound. We are noticing a little bit of a loss in the kind of the articulation going on here. Again, this is not, I'm not poo-pooing anyone's decision in terms of their cosmetic appearance, but we do know that the teeth play a huge part in our articulation. So we do notice that, she's had her teeth done. So, when you do change something within the mouth, we do need to then work on retraining those articulation muscles. Like, Gwen's got so much money. I'm sure she's had trainers for these things, but we're just noticing it's a little bit harder to understand what's going on.
I know I've been a real bad girl. I didn't mean for you to get hurt whatsoever. We can make it better. Now tell me, boy, now wouldn't that be sweet? Sweet escape. Feet like this. Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that. 'Cause I ain't no Hollaback girl. I ain't no Hollaback girl. Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just gonna happen like that. 'Cause I ain't no Hollaback girl. I ain't no Hollaback girl. Ooh, this my, hey.
Okay, so we're hearing this distinct, this little bit of crackness. Look, I honestly can't do it. That is a little bit of either, as I said at the beginning of the video, a little bit of pressure behind the vocal folds. We're hearing quite a lot, and we're hearing quite an audible out breath at the end of the phrase. That's just telling us there's a lot of pressure going on. She's also moving, totally normal when you're moving and singing behind a thicker vocal fold closure. But that little bit of crackle coming in, as I said, could be really the physiology of the vocal folds themselves. themselves. That's a really typical sound for something like soft nodules or even like a swelling on the vocal fold. But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not pretending to know what's actually going on with Gwen's voice. It's just that I would say that if you are experiencing that where you're not able to sing with a clear tone, I would want you to get your voice just checked out by a doctor. They put a camera down your nose and take a look at what's going on with your vocal folds, because we want to make sure that they're really in good condition. And most importantly, I want you to make sure that you're drinking lots of water, because this is honestly the cheapest way and the best way for us to really make sure that we've got enough hydration. And that's another thing. If we're getting crispy vocals or feeling a scratch, could also be due to a lack of hydration. So don't worry about any potions or teas. Just drink some blimmin' water, yeah? I honestly never knew that the lyrics were all the girls stomp your feet like this. I thought all the girls, whatever. I've never heard those lyrics.
Talking, and you didn't think that I would hear it. People hear you talking like that, getting everybody fired up. So I'm ready to attack, gonna lead the pack, gonna get a touchdown, gonna take you out. That's right, put your pom-poms down, getting everybody fired up. Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just sort of happen like that. Cause I ain't no hollaback girl, I ain't no hollaback girl. Few times I've been around that.
Oh, I absolutely love this song. But you can hear as well, a few times I've been around that track. So it's like a little bit of a darker sound that she's got there. Again, that's a little bit due to age, but she ain't no hollaback girl. And she going, ain't no hollaback girl. She's not staying up there on that note. Now, that's a perfect example of how when something is no longer fitting in with our voice, we want to change it slightly, like the melody or where we're going with the notes, because honestly, no one fucking cares if we take those like couple of notes down, change the key a little bit. No one really notices and no one cares. It's about making sure that the song fits within your own voice where it is, and that's all that matters. It's not about like proving a point of how high or how loud or anything that you can sing. Gwen is a perfect example of actually there is very little singing going on in this performance except at the beginning when she was actually, well, it was pre-recorded. This is now really speaking on pitch. Few times I've been around that track. You could almost say, well, this is chest voice taken higher. It's not particularly loud. We've got that few times I've been around that track, but she's also really ramped her larynx up high. Few times I've been around that track. We've got a little bit of that constriction going on at the back of the swallowing muscles there, and that's what's making it a little bit tighter there. Again, I promise you, I'm really not making fun of Gwen. I admire her. I think she's an amazing performer. I think it's absolutely fantastic that she's doing this. But I just wanted to let you know, if that's something that you are like, if you want to become a Gwen Stefani tribute act, do that.
Around that track, so it's not just sort of happen like that. Cause I ain't no hollaback girl, I ain't no hollaback girl. Few times I've been around that track, so it's not just sort of happen like that. Cause I ain't no hollaback girl, I ain't no. Let me hear you say that. It's bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A, yes. It's bananas, B-A-N-A-N. I get it. It's bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A, yes. It's bananas, B-A-N-A-N.
I love it. I absolutely love Gwen Stefani. And you heard there that we did hear quite a lot more crackle coming in at the end. That is very, very hard to stay in. A few times I've been around that track with so much constriction behind the sound and so like high larynx, thick vocal fold up there. Hearing that amount of crackle in the sound, it really does make me think about the pathology. But again, professional singers like this, you make like, we do know that, like, for example, Lola with Messi, I'm so sorry, I've forgotten her last name. Lola, she has a polyp on her vocal folds. Miley Cyrus recently admitted that she has not admitted, but she said that she has a polyp on her vocal folds. We know that Mariah Carey has nodules and she's never had them taken off or treated, and she just sings around it. And we do know that, for example, Meghan Trainor also suffered from a polyp as well and a vocal fold hemorrhage. I think she had 2 surgeries actually. No, this is like as... For this level of singer, this has nothing to do. I've also had, and I'm not saying that like, oh my God, I'm this level of singer, but this is like, for example, spraining your ankle, right? For maybe a little bit more than that. But it's like, for example, like pulling a muscle or something like that, or like, it's something that actually happens so often in the singing world, and it's often demonized and said that it's down to bad technique or they did something wrong. It's literally, you could sneeze and these things could happen. You know, it's not necessarily because of your singing technique. It could also be due to the environment that you're speaking in. And often it's people who are using this type of vocal quality where it's like quite high energy and speaking. So for example, teachers, PE teachers, fitness instructors, that sort of thing, where this ends up happening to more so than singers. So I don't want anyone to demonize any vocal injury. It's like any injury that we experience, like a torn muscle or something like that. These just happen when you end up, it's just like part of the trade, right? You end up using it a lot and therefore the risk of injury is higher. But I don't want you to think that, the thing is, as well, you know, people like Gwen Stefani, all these singers that I said, they all get singing lessons. They all make sure that they're working with someone in order to make sure that they're working at their most efficient, but also that someone has really got outside eyes on what they're doing to say, hey, did you hear this in your performance? Did you do this? Did you, this is what you can do to change it? Because that's really the way that you make progress in your singing, but it's also the way that you help maintain the best vocal technique over time. And that is why at my online singing school, the Vocal Academy, I have incorporated one-to-one singing lessons, really, really, really small private practice groups. There's maximum of 6 singers in each practice group. We have masterclasses where you get to sing in front of me as well. And we run working on songs and acting through singing masterclasses, as well as online concerts. We have a fantastic community of people supporting you. There's loads to look at. Check it out in the description below and become one of our newest members. I'd love to see you there, especially for the one-to-one singing lessons. That's something that was really, really important to me to incorporate into your singing. So check it out down below. Who loves Gwen Stefani? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. What should I have a look at her performances next time? And if you've enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button. It really does mean the world to me to help grow this channel so that I can help more people like yourself with their vocal technique. And it just brings me such joy to look at such amazing performances. And so I'd love to see you around here more often. Check out some more. Have we looked at Gwen Stefani before on the channel? I don't think we have. I'm going to pick a really good video for you up here and I want you to check it out. Have an awesome rest today. Happy singing. Kaki channel.